And here we go. 9 o'clock on a Tuesday, the happening thing to do. Hello, everybody. Terry, tell Jeff I said hello. I'm thinking about maybe putting the camera down here. I hate that angle, but maybe I'll put the camera down there, and that way it'll, when I'm looking down at the comments, it'll be, you know. Lisa, how are you doing? It's funny, I'm starting to know everyone's code names. Man, so a couple things to talk about tonight, just in general, that we all talk about all the time. Who's on it? Right now it says there's only 4 people on. There's Terry and Johnny. What's up, buddy? Every week you hang out. I appreciate it. Jessica. I don't know if Dave's on yet, Mr. Dunsmith, but Dave seems the most fascinated by the birds. So every time I talk about what could we, what's up, Greg? Every time I talk about what could we talk about, Greg always wants to talk about the Eagles. And there's nine of you watching right now. Leanne, hello. Is anybody still following and watching at all? Those fucking birds grow fast. Like, if the term growing pains is a real thing, they've got to be feeling those things, man. Jeanette, how are you? Like, every day they're twice as big, and the mom and the dad don't even hardly come to the nest anymore other than to bring them food. It's crazy. Huh. Where is your work that you're driving to? Tuesday night. Johnny Law. Where do I want to start other than the birds? Actually, I was gonna talk about. I made this about 2 different things, actually. I made 2 posts this week that I think I've always told you guys I crack up at the way people take my posts, and I always put things in there in a way that I believe will make people hold on one second. I'm gonna just see something. Oh, that is not what I wanted to see. Hold on a second. There. I want the angle to be different. Oh, right on. Hey, Jackie. So 2 posts I made this week. Let's talk about the first one. Is I made a post about the tariffs and about 2 emails that I had gotten about one from one of my suppliers in the candle industry, and one basically the 3 biggest music stores in the country all sent out very similar emails about the tariffs and the effect. And it always cracks me up in my posts. If you read my post, it said it wasn't a political post, and it even said that I understand the concept of the tariffs. I get the hard game, and I get that we're tariffed, and everything's a theory, and everybody has different opinions. Everyone has a different theory of should we or shouldn't we do this. But whether I agree with it or not, I understand the theory behind it. And in theory, it could possibly work out to be the advantage if you have what it takes to play the long game. And a lot of people don't. But what was interesting to me was, and I had this conversation with a lot of people. Hey there. So I often got to wonder if it's me that's wrong when I say we're in it. Then a lot of people will start giving theories, their versions of, well, we're in, this is because the tariffs are happening because this, or this wouldn't happen because, whatever it is, not the tariff, but, and it's never my point. My point isn't, I'm not asking usually why. My point is usually, here we are. We're dealing with it. Whether you agree with the tariffs, whether you don't agree with the tariffs, whether you think that it's not going to affect you, whether you think it is going to affect you, whatever it is that you think, my point is It's happening. The tariffs are here. There's more. There's no more theory. Those people. Hey Trisha. Hey Amy. Maureen. And some people miss that all the time. We can argue all we want about the theory. It's too late. It's just like a nuclear weapon gets dropped. We can all argue what we think will happen when the bomb drops. The bomb is dropped. The tariffs are here. We are living in this. So arguing about it is just ridiculous. So some of the things that people said in my post, it just cracks me up sometimes. They're not hearing what I'm saying. What I'm saying is it's here. And then they'll say, oh, it's not going to affect us. Well, it did. And then they'll say, well, it's just fear mongering. Well, yes, it is fear mongering, but that's what they are doing because of the tariffs. That's exactly my point. The fear mongering is part of we're in it. It's happening. So these people are scared for their companies and how are they going to survive? So let's scare us into buying stuff. Whatever. Again, I can repeat myself over again. If you guys, I'm going to go back to my buddy that does the type this if you know and type this if you don't know. Type yes if you agree and no if you don't agree, or yes if you understand and or no if you don't understand. But about my point that we can theorize all we want. We're here. The game is here. Don't tell me it's not going to affect me because it did affect me. I got the 2 emails. What I choose to do with those emails in the music business or the candle business are 2 completely different things, but we are in it and it's happening. Those companies got together and had a meeting and they're scared about it. Julie, you're independent business, a big, good, great business, but you're family-run business. Have you thought about it? Everyone's had to think about what's going to happen. And then I saw reports today that it's fucking with China bad already, Would you rather have taxes on zero? Yeah, Johnny, but here's my point. That's not the question. It's not what I want or don't want. It's happening. And that's exactly my point. Ask yourself this: would you rather have taxes on zero tariffs or taxes on or tariffs on zero taxes? I get your point. I'm not saying whether it's right or wrong. It's not whether I agree with it or not. It's that we are living in it. And a lot of times I post stuff like that, and people seem to miss what my point is about things. A lot of times I'm not offering an opinion. I'm offering real world facts, but I'm scared. I can't weather this storm. At the end of it, it may be super shiny and great, but I can't. The candle business will not weather that storm. It's funny. I was talking to one of my friends about the if it's American made products that I'm using in my candle business, it's not going to affect me. But it is because everybody has to make their margins and their profit, right? So I think maybe I've discussed this at some point in my life on here, but China bought 70% of the United States soy. Soy is what I make my wax with. So they signed a deal. They're not buying that 70% of wax from us anymore. So they're going to buy it from Brazil this year. So that's 70. That's like a company losing 70% of its. That's what's happened. A company has lost 70% of an industry, not a company. An industry has lost 70% of their income. Well, you got a business if that happens. So they have to make that up. So where are they going to make that up? Every day now when I wake up, I look online at my supplier wax. And so far it hasn't gone up. It went up during COVID. It almost doubled during COVID. It was ridiculous. If you know anything about retail or just business in general, there's the cost of a product, and then you double that cost for wholesale. And then you double that cost to retail. So I doubled, let's just say it was costing me $5 to make a candle, $10 at wholesale, $20 at retail. My price is a little bit different than that. I've never made up that margin. That's the common margin it's been in retail history for years. Is the double it, and then double it. And so, even though I've raised my prices a little bit, I did not raise my prices to equal my 50% margin. I've not raised my prices that high. So if the wax increases in price again, I you know right now I'm selling. Over the 12 years, I think we started selling candles at $24, and over the 12 years, as the industry raised prices, we raised prices too, but we never raised them as much. So now I'm at $30 for a large candle. There's a lot of companies, boutique companies that work in the same world that I do, that are selling those candles for 35, 36, even $40, the same exact candle that I'm selling for 30. And every day when I sell it for 30, I feel sad because I remember 12 years ago when I could sell it for $24, but we've improved the candle, but also the price has gone up over the years, and the cost of living and in general price goes up. So, $6 over 12 years is what, 50 cents a year. And when you look at it that way, it's not a huge price increase. But again, my margins are less. I'm barely in business because of my margins. I quit more than 2/3 of my wholesale program selling to stores around we were selling to Bed Bath and Beyond and all these huge retail stores, and it got to the point where the margin wasn't worth it because of the cost of the products, and then those big companies didn't want to pay a particular price because they were buying for China and buying. Yankee Candle moved their production, a huge amount of their production, to China when they started selling their candles instead of just in their stores, selling them to Walmart and Bed Bath and Beyond. And it fucked the candle industry completely because Yankee was held as the kind of expensive candle, and all of a sudden you could get it cheap and you were getting it at Walmart, and it fucked us all. Look how much the value of a dollar went down in the past 12 years, man. You're right, Johnny, so much. Soy wax at my local supplier for coconut soy went up 20 cents last week. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Can I ask where that is? What part of the country? I forgive me if I don't know where you are, but where are you? Went up 20% last week. Holy crap! So it's coming. If I have to take a 20% hit on my wax, I shut my doors. That's horrifying to even look at that. Like, I almost want to just shut the stream off in Georgia. So where are you getting the wax at? You're not getting it out of North Carolina, are you? Sorry that I'm having this personal conversation one-on-one right now. But that's time to cut my losses and run. I challenge everyone to support small business. Spend a few extra dollars and so much versus giving it to the bigger corporations. Trisha, I appreciate that. More than you would ever know. But I will say this. I'm a little bit different than a lot of small business guys. We played a party for Walmart one time. The Bret Michaels Band played a corporate party for Walmart. And, Sam Walton, the guy that started Walmart, he was just a guy with a drugstore that had a better idea and found a way to do business. He was 12 pounds, almost $50. I don't want to give away my core secrets, but there's a company called Candle Science from Raleigh, North Carolina, and I can get 50-pound boxes for $103, which before COVID, a 50-pound box was $59. But if you're into having them ship and you're able to buy 50 pounds at a time, you'd get more. Where was I at? Sam Walton, he had a better idea and he started it. It's just like a band. When someone says, "Oh, they're just a local band," well, Van Halen was a fucking local band. Poison was a local band. Bon Jovi was a local band. That's how you start. No matter what you are, you're local business. And so the Guitar Center thing. I know that Guitar Center put the two music stores that I work at as a child out of business. But he was just a guy in LA that had an idea and grew the fucking thing differently than anyone else. The guy that owned the stores that I worked at, if he could have taken that path, he would have done the same thing. So small business turns into big business if you do it right, if you want to. Some people don't want to. So I'm never to, I appreciate the notion of support small business. I appreciate it more than anything. But right now, to me, it's support American business, whatever that is. And it's just going to be so expensive. It's going to be crazy. So 25 likes or 25 viewers, 6 likes. You guys, do me the favor. Let's get the likes in the comments. The comments matter too, I understand. So even if you're just talking amongst yourself or saying hi and yes or whatever, the comments matter a lot. So there was that. Well, that was about the candle business. But so yeah, help me out. Order candles. Big important business. Terry, I know earlier you said Jeff said hi. I don't remember if I said Jeff to tell Jeff hello back. Have you thought of using different materials? You did with the wigs. Amy, I've gone through everything I can about the materials. I'm doing it as cheap as I possibly can and keeping it American made. Although one particular piece of glass I use all Libby glass, and Libby is a great American company. One of the vessels I make is now made, even though it comes from Libby, they open a plant in China to keep their prices down. I'll be curious to see if those prices on those things are going to go up. We'll see. Man, it always happens. For some reason, my talk to text happens, and I gotta shut this down. It has everything. Like everything I said for the last 5 minutes. I don't even know why I hit that. Give me 1 second. So that was all talk about the tariff post I made. And the whole point of all that was about people not understanding my exact whole point. What's up, Rich? Then I made this other post. And it was about, the extraterrestrial stuff. And it's funny, the more that keeps happening, and the more growth I have, the more I don't want to call it extraterrestrials. I want to call it interdimensionals. Non-human is what NHI is what it's called now, I think, whatever the word is. But I made this post about how, some of the biggest questions with the whistleblowing stuff is why? Why, if these alien beings are here, why don't we know? And the answer is always going to be, with anything, is money. But money's big. It's bigger than that. Well, it's not bigger than money. It's greed, and it's lack of evolution. And when I say lack of evolution, I mean, I'll take it back to the candle company. And when the entire world evolved into the soy wax thing, the Yankee Candle, the biggest candle company in the world, fought it tooth and nail because it made them obsolete. And they already owned so much paraffin wax, they couldn't switch. Their product was their product, and they had to leave it up to marketing and propaganda to even stay in business. Now, they're in business. Sears was in business for so long, and Walmart took the Sears model and crushed it, but it took years for it to die. Business dies a slow death sometimes. It took 20 years for Sears to die, knowing it was dying. And Yankee Candle, the same thing. It's dying. It would crumble on itself because of the billions of dollars in technology that's now obsolete. So, and because everyone can do it at home now. Anyone can do it at home. And so I have a baking candle, Johnny. You send me a personal message. I have the fragrance. I don't keep it in stock, but I can make it. I can make it without a doubt. So my point is, just like in the candle industry with the evolution of soy wax, and everyone all of a sudden knows that the other wax is terrible. And if an extraterrestrial being shows up on this planet and says, "Here I am, and here is the vehicle that got me from here to there, and I didn't have to stop to get gas, and I didn't have a propulsion system or brake system," just think about that. Something as simple as that. An alien shows up in a vehicle that's powered and can start and stop without any energy that we know of or any fuel, but can start and stop. Whatever that technology is, brake shoes alone in a car are obsolete. Just send it to my Facebook, the Pete Manassas Evick. Brake shoes. So brake shoes, someone look it up. Brake shoes probably makes $3 billion a year around the world. I do somewhere, Terry. So anyway, I'm making this post, and I'm making it very clear that it's not about religion. I even say in the post that if aliens landed and showed the world they exist, it wouldn't mean much in faith, especially nowadays. Every day, more and more, and Jackie knows this very well. You guys all know it from watching me every week. These two worlds are colliding. Faith and science are colliding, and the hands down everyday proof that they can coexist. I've talked to 4 different people in the last week. 4 different people that I guarantee you 10 years ago would not dream of talking about God and Jesus and the Greys in one conversation, and that they could possibly coexist. And the 4 different people I spoke to are not only think it, but are 100% sure that they all exist in the same world. So it's not about aliens would land and then everyone would have to not believe in God. In fact, I have a feeling when they land, it's going to be them that finally makes me believe in something. But my post was, hey, Carolyn, my post was about the monetization, and what's happening on our planet is all greed. So E.T. lands and walks out of his new energy we've never seen that doesn't use fossil fuel or doesn't use anything that we don't. Look at that. Randy chimed in. United States automotive brake pad, shoes, and linings market was valued at $4.74 billion. So, again, just showing up in a vehicle that doesn't need brakes costs the world $4.7 billion. It costs us that because we run on money and we don't know how to not run on money. So they show up. And history books have to be rewritten. The Bible has to be rewritten. The Quran has to be rewritten. All of that has to be rewritten. even though we live in a world of digital books, printed literature is again billions of dollars in business. Hey there, Jeff. Where you been, buddy? And Tressa. So my point was so much that it was about the monetization, and I used religion because religion is big money. Religion is as big money as big pharma. I mean, how do you think they build those giant churches? The money, and again, it's a business, so whatever it is. I know this is off subject, but the movie The Passengers is so cool about traveling to another planet. Oh yeah, I've seen that. It's amazing. Hey Sarah, how are you? You're not late because you can watch it anytime. So my post was about money and monetization. I thought I made it very clear. And then this guy chimes in and he says, you're a great guitar player, but he wasn't very insulting, but he has some degree in arguing religion and proving religion. And you got to read it. My friend Vaughn went to town on the guy. I guess he lives here in Manassas. And he said, anytime you'd like to sit down for a beer, I'd love to speak to you. And I said to him, if you read the thread, I said, I'll be glad to speak to you. I'm as open-minded as I come, but I need you to be as open-minded as can be to accept that I might be right and you might be wrong. And that's where it usually goes bad with Christians, is they want to spend their life changing our mind, and I'm not allowed to even attempt to change your mind. And so anyway, if you go back and read the thread, it blew my mind. That, again, my point was about the monetization of literature. It wasn't about God doesn't exist. And it's funny what people will read. Anything you type, it's funny what they will read. And so I did this backwards tonight in the way I was going to do all this stuff. But now that I'm on the topic, I was going to bring up a couple things in the as far as the extraterrestrial thing goes. It seems. And by the way, Randy had a birthday the other day. Everybody tell Randy happy birthday. I'd be curious. Everybody look up facts of things you couldn't dream cost that kind of money. Everybody pick a couple topics and then have someone go look them up and post find things that make billions of dollars a year that would blow your mind. I would be curious to see how much money, just paper, how much money in printer paper do we spend a year? But actually that's not a good one. Let's think of things that if the extraterrestrials land and got out of their ship, what would not, there would probably be, we would probably learn that there is a different way to illuminate things. Because I can't imagine you traveling light years. What's up, Rick? Traveling light years and having to bring a supply of light bulbs. So there's probably a whole different way to illuminate things. So someone look up how many billions of dollars a year is spent on light bulbs. I would love to see that. And anybody else, feel free to pick some subject or something that would instantly be over with. The way we eat would be changed. Love you, brother. Food industry would be changed because if they were beings that could exist on our planet, they would have to use substance like us. A lot of people are saying they use it's more like a protein shakes and stuff like that, which we can survive on, but the whole world would change. So what I've started to find interesting in this world now, that's very, very real right now, of there you go, fountain soda. I wish I could quit fountain soda. It's my one problem. What am I trying to say? Oh, so in the last 2 weeks, I've taken so many journeys deeper than I've ever taken. And the global, Randy looked it up again, the global light bulb market, multi-billion dollars, $104.7 billion. These are the thing. And forget about the extraterrestrial thing. Think about Nikola Tesla. One of the ancient civilization left Earth 1 million years ago for another planet and decided today to come back to Earth. We call them right. John. That's a great point. And a lot of people think that. A lot of people think they are from here. But so I'm going off topic for a minute, but it's another thing that's incredibly close to my heart. And one day, if Tina ever wants to tell you the story herself, I will let her tell you. But she does some deep shit that you would never expect in the study of free energy. Again, that's her story. But Nikola Tesla, a lot of people think he was killed because of that. That's the greed, right? That's the greed that keeps the alien thing hidden, the same people that killed Nikola Tesla. And so Mr. Fact Checker Randy, I don't know if you can check. I don't know how you can do this, but is there a way to check out how much we spend in electricity a year? That would be something. I don't know if you can look that number up, but maybe you can. But we'll be surprised when we see this. But Nikola Tesla is not the only person that there's hundreds of people continuously trying to create free energy and have created it or know the concept, have everything possible, and they disappear. I hear you. Tina's chiming in. People say he got killed. Either way, the technology, okay, regardless if he got killed or not, it's true though. People do think he got killed. Where the fuck did you get that from all of a sudden? And you're supposed to be on my team anyway. But my point is the free energy thing. I mean, they raided his stuff after he died, old and penniless, and they raided his stuff and they took all his research because he knew how to make free energy. We all know this, and we all know that many people think the pyramids are a way of free energy that everyone knows, and no one's gonna let you know how to do it. So even here on Earth. So my point is that ship gets here, it didn't take gas and it wasn't electric powered. It blows energy out of the way. And I just can't say it enough. On this planet, we have people that know how to create free energy. And that is the biggest industry in the world, bigger than Big Pharma, bigger than anything. And they will kill you before that information gets released. So much that again, it's Tina's story to tell, but she knows how to do it. She knows how. She's taken on that work and knows how to do it to the point where I've told her to fucking quit because they're gonna come kill her. I fucking said that. There you go. In 2022, the United States spent $482 billion on electricity. And that right there is the reason the government will kill us before they let us believe that there's a extraterrestrial or interdimensional being with a vehicle that you don't have to plug in or gas up. That number right there is exactly it. So anyway, what we have now is what I find interesting as there is. It used to be a small community of people fighting for disclosure. And the community is growing and growing. Something big is fucking happening. Something big is happening. But is just like human nature. It's all of a sudden breaking out into teams that hate each other. And I never thought I would see this in the UFO community that I've been part of secretly and non-secretly my whole life. But so there's this new guy, Jake Barber, new whistleblower. Story is fascinating. 143 billion spent on tires. It's amazing. New whistleblower guy, ex-military. Story is absolutely fascinating. He has an entire business, Sky Search or Star Search or Randy, that's your next fact check. Look up what Jake Barber's company is called. So Jake has a team of people working out in the desert doing psionics, where psionics is the study now that groups of people can work together psychically to summon, as Jake says, and I'll get back to this in a minute, but to ask these crafts and these beings to show themselves. And as of right now, Jake comes out of nowhere with this company, Star Watcher or something. They all have similar names. I can't think of it. Anyway, it's a real thing with a real team of people. And they're out there looking and doing this. And 2 days ago, he released a couple videos of things. If Randy finds the information, maybe he can tell you where to look. Go to his YouTube site and check it out. But his whole team of people are now, we're almost in a space race. He has a team of people, and they're over here, and only they know what they're doing. Everyone else is fucking wrong. Everyone else is fucking stupid, and they are the only ones that know, and they are the only ones they're right. And then there's this guy, Stephen Greer. Stephen Greer has been in the game a long, long time. He knows Whitley. And Stephen is interested. Jake Barber believes that he was hired by the military to move and retrieve a craft. He didn't know what he was doing, and he retrieved this craft. And when he got close to it, this spiritual thing happened. And look, spatulas. There you go. $4 billion in spatulas. So Stephen Greer is the originator of what you call the CE5 contact. I'm sure he owns a patent on it, which is the same thing this Jake Barber guy is doing. That is, multi-groups of people go out and meditate together. Stephen's got an app. He swears the app works. But we were just watching Stephen on a podcast. I forget the guy's podcast. Jesse. There's this guy, Jesse Michaels. And I'm going to tell you this. Write this down. If you're into all this stuff that I keep talking about, this guy, Jesse Michaels, has an incredible podcast. And he just did one with Stephen Greer for, it's like 4 hours long. But Stephen's been in the game a long, long time. Ex-military, lives here in Virginia, actually. And he has an incredible amount of knowledge that seems legit. But the funny thing with Stephen is he believes he's contacted aliens. He believes all the things that Whitley believes has happened to Whitley. He believes all the things that Travis Walton believes. He believes the things that I believe. But he thinks that it's happened to no one but him. He will tell you everybody, even the old story of Benny and Barney, the original couple from the 40s or whatever that had the abduction that no one even argues about anymore. Everyone, it's almost, they just let it go. No one talks about whether it happened or not anymore. They just believe it happened. Can they grow new organs to replace non-functional ones, like in Star Trek? because almost 50,000 organ transplants in the U.S. annually each, and will cost at least $1 million. So there you go. No complications. So the Stephen Greer guy believes only him and his team are doing it right. So now there's two teams. There's Jake Barber's team and there's Stephen Greer's team. Jake's not nearly as arrogant as Stephen, but if you look them both up, they both think that they're doing this and no one else knows how to do it. And there's tons of other teams. And there's Whitley, who Whitley is on his own path. And you know me, as far as I'm concerned, he is right. He can do no wrong. And his path is where I would like to go. But I don't discredit everyone else. Greer basically says they're all liars. No one thinks Travis Walton's a liar. You know, me and Whitley talked about that. Whitley was like, even if this hadn't happened to me, even if you think my story's not true, Travis's story, you can't fucking deny that it's the truest story in the world. And Travis, I don't even know. I think that Travis was so fucked up from it that he just wants it to go away. I don't see him active in other groups or anything anymore. I don't see any of that. I don't. He does talk show here and there once in a while. He spits his name, but he's not actively pursuing disclosure. I think his story was so horrible. He hopes that he never ever sees those guys again. You know, but again, my point is Greer thinks that it only happened to him and everyone else is lying. And Jake doesn't say everyone else is lying, but Jake thinks his experience was different than everyone else's, and he knows something everyone else has. And Whitley has his thing. And the guy from Tom DeLonge from Blink-182 has an entire company based on the disclosure of extraterrestrials. And it's interesting because I had mentioned to Whitley, have you ever spoke to Tom? And Tom said Whitley won't speak to him. Or Whitley said Tom won't speak to him. So inside what should be a community of all of us together, it's not. There's still ego, and there's still money to be made, and there's still who's going to be the leader. You know, there's this one guy, Jeremy Corbell, popped up a couple of years ago, and he doesn't claim to have any experiences. He doesn't claim to have any of that. He's just fascinated by it, and he got to talk to Bob Lazar. And I don't know if you guys know who Bob Lazar is, but Bob is a lot of where this all started. Bob was hired to work at S4, which is a part of Area 51 in the 80s, and his story is that he was so afraid for his life after seeing these UFOs and being threatened that if he ever said anything to anybody, they'd kill him, that he went public with George Knapp, who George is the coolest. Look, if you look this guy up, George Knapp, he's the coolest. I don't even know what to say. He's a reporter. And he had no interest in any of this at all. And Bob Lazar showed up on his doorstep asking him to report this live in the news in Vegas to protect his life. And now George Knapp is part of this world. So anyway, this guy, Jeremy Corbell, pops up as an investigative journalist. Somehow he gets to talk to Bob Lazar and George Knapp. Now he does a podcast with George Knapp called Weaponized. He's very, very, very informed. But he's got his team. And his team, there's little armies now fighting for supremacy in the UFO community instead of all of us just being together. And I find it just fascinating. So moving forward from that, what I wanted to say was there's a bunch of guys that are doing this way, way, way better than me. And Jesse Michaels is one of them. And if you guys have interest in this stuff, I'm asking guys, check this guy Jesse Michaels out. He's killer, and there's killer content, and he's very open-minded. It almost looks like he doesn't believe any of it. He spends a lot of time you just have to check it out. He's not out every night looking for UFOs to land. He's trying to figure this out, and he doesn't know what to believe. And he's had all the guests. He's Stephen Greer. He's had Whitley Strieber. I think he's had Jake Barber. You can watch his interviews with these guys and check the stuff out and just absorb it if you're interested in it. And there's two others. There is this site called Area 52, and this guy is the most entertaining of everybody. He puts more into the production of his shows, but he's what's the word? He's skeptic. He's super skeptic. And so he delivers the information and he reads documents, and it'll just grasp your imagination and you run wild with it, but it's great. And then there's this other guy that I beg you all to check out. The site is called Vetted, and everything about this guy is something I would not have anything to do with. The first time I watched him, I thought, this guy's completely uninformed, uneducated, grasping at straws, and just trying to have a podcast, and he picked the UFO phenomena. He wasn't lying. He just is so different than anybody else. He seems like a Jersey Shore college kid. And he much like me, he looks like he's in a room half the size of my room, in probably an apartment with his parents. I don't know. And he's right up on the screen, but then again, so am I. But he's even closer than I am. But his site, I'm on a Jake loop now. $19 billion spent on baseball caps. Global guitar string market, $1.2 billion. So this guy, I forget his name, but his show is Vetted, Vetted. And Jake Barber called him, inviting him out to his site. And that's what's going to happen now. Stephen Greer is going to get someone. He's going to invite one of these podcast hosts out. Maybe if I grow this big enough, someone will invite me to one of them. But then again, I met Strieber. I went to Strieber's house, so I win. I win. But you got to check it out. Check those three guys out: Area 52, Vetted, and Jesse Michaels. They have all the information, non-biased, that you could ever dream of on this topic. But it's big, man. It's growing bigger every day. And if you let yourself into the community, it's nonstop news, nonstop reporting. It is 24/7. The spiritual growth of it, the combining of faith and science, and just the trying to get the government to spill the beans on what they know. There's so much information. And if you have no relation to Brett Michaels, you're correct. There you go, Greg. But if you guys you talk to me every week about this. If you're interested, I beg you to check these guys out too. It's that time again where I have to tell you, please hit subscribe. Let me get some new subscribers. I still need like 300 subscribers to get to 1,000. Doesn't seem hard, right? Like I have 10,000 followers and viewers on Facebook and 4,000 on Instagram. I don't know why I can't get everyone to sign up on my YouTube, but I need it. So, all right. So that's my UFO stuff for this week. Although, and Tina doesn't even know this because I didn't get a chance to tell her yet. I did speak today, to the woman that wanted to do the hypnosis on me. Because of my friend Jackie, I've been talking to other people in town about this stuff. But there's a woman that lives out by Skinwalker Ranch that specializes in alien hypnosis or abductee hypnosis. And at 3 o'clock tomorrow, I'm going to have a consultation with her. Jackie has given me a name of a hypnotist in town that I reached out to, and the woman that did the last past life regression with me, I reached out to her today too. I'm going to do this, and I'm probably going to do it 3 times with 3 different people. But I may tape just the consultation tomorrow and see where we go with this. But if I do that, I think that I might go to a subscription section of Facebook for anyone that's interested. And I know this sounds dumb, but this is going to be exposing incredibly private part of my life, and a moment where I'm naked, I'm vulnerable, and I'm going to be put out to if I let the world see it, the scrutiny will be unbelievable because there's billions that think this stuff is fake. And I can sit and talk about this all day long, but if there's an actual video of me under hypnosis, just the fact that I did it will support an intense amount of ridicule. So I may put it under a subscription-based part of Facebook, because as dumb as it sounds, I believe that if you would pay to see it, you want to see it. Well, Sarah, I've been hypnotized several times, and it's the oddest shit in the world, without a doubt. It's fucking odd, but I don't think I've ever been in a situation where someone could. I'm always aware of where I'm at. It's a much different feeling than, I don't understand the ones where they can make you slap your friend and or spill water. I don't. Every time I've been hypnotized, it doesn't feel like they could make me do that. I haven't tried it, but you're certainly in a different state of consciousness. It's certainly strange, but yeah, I may do that. It depends. I'll watch the video myself and decide what I want to do with it. But I'll start with taping the consultations and see if it's worth anybody seeing anything. If it helps, if I believe it'll help anybody or anything or the progress, I'm not going to do it just for entertainment. Yeah, you remember every part of it. That's the point of the hypnosis. The hypnosis is actually to make me remember the things I don't remember about the abductions. So plus I have a $1,400 car repair I didn't expect as of today. So I'm going to have to pay to watch this. And everybody watching today, 28 viewers. I want 28 candle sales. Help me out. Everyone says they know how to support. They want to support. So there it is. I want 28 candle orders before midnight tonight. Help me. My car broke down. All right. So there's one funny thing I wanted to talk about today. The music part. Hey, Schrager. There's this thing that has happened between me and Brett for as long as I've known him. There's this era between 1984 and 86. I saw that, Jeanette. Thank you for the purchase. 31 viewers. 31 viewers, 23 likes. Hit the like button. We'll talk about songs or movies, and he'll know something from the beginning of 1984 or before, and he'll know things from 86, 87 on. But if I say, hey, do you remember this? No, I don't remember that. And I never think much about it. Or I'll bring up a song and he'll be like, what the fuck song is that? Whatever. So if you've ever been to a Bret Michaels sound check, it's very, our sound check's very coordinated. If you've seen it and you never know for years, we do the verse and chorus of Mama Don't Dance is how we start. And the reason we do that, and if you guys know, I pretend to be Bret at sound check. I sing it at his mic. So we start Mama Don't Dance, and the reason we do Mama Don't Dance is because it starts with guitar, then the bass comes, it starts with drums, one instrument at a time comes in. So it's a perfect song to check everything with. We start with the drums, bring the guitar in, bring the bass in, bring the keyboard in, and then everybody sings. Huge vocal parts in Mama Don't Dance. So we do verse and chorus of that to sound check everything at the beginning. And then the next thing we do is we do Ride the Wind. And the reason we do Ride the Wind is, again, there's these huge vocal parts that we're double checking. But with Dean in the band, there's a second guitar part, and Ride the Wind gives us the opportunity to differentiate those guitar parts and hear on stage if those guitar parts are separated correctly and if whether me or Dean are too loud with each other. So that's why we do Ride the Wind. We do verse and chorus of Ride the Wind. So 45 seconds of Mama Don't Dance, 45 seconds of Ride the Wind, and then I go over to my mic and we do Cat Dragged In, and I check my vocal mic instead of Bret's vocal mic, and we do verse and chorus of Cat Dragged In. And then we bring Every Rose in and we do verse and chorus of Every Rose. And we do Every Rose so we can check the acoustic guitar. So everything we do for an exact reason. And we've been done it like this for 21 years. We used to do Fallen Angel instead of Ride the Wind, but now I like to do Ride the Wind. So anyway, and then we do what's called Walk the Mic. And with Walk the Mic, we play something, and JT plays my guitar. JT's me and Bret's guitar tech. JT plays my guitar, and I walk the stage so that I can put the microphone in all the different places that it might feedback or it might squeal, and it's how we check Bret's mic. But we always have to do Bret. It's funny, there are moments where I can sing just like Bret, but his voice is much different than mine. It's a little bit louder than mine, and when I sing the Poison songs myself, I do this kind of airy, more Bon Jovi-ish voice because that's just more like my voice. So when I'm checking the mic and walking all over the stage, it needs to be a song that I can put some power into. Sometimes we used to do Mental Health. Sometimes we do Highway to Hell. Something where I can really push the mic, and for the last 6 months, we've been doing Somebody from Bryan Adams. And we've been doing Somebody because Somebody has a wide spectrum of vocal, and it gets to that second verse, and he belts it. I thought I saw the Madonna when she walked in the room, yeah. And when I sing it on stage, I sing it really powerful and really loud. So anyway, my point with all this is, jokingly, but also truly questioning me, Bret says, why the fuck do you do that Bryan Adams song nobody fucking knows? He said that the other day, because Bret, everything's a show. Even soundcheck is a show. Someone can hear you somewhere, so make sure you're entertaining. Why do you fucking play that Bryan Adams song that no one fucking knows? Moments like this have happened for 20 years, but this one was different. I said, what the fuck do you mean? I said, the fucking song's the second biggest song he ever had other than Summer 69. It was a single after Summer 69 off the fucking Reckless record, his biggest selling record till that stupid fucking ballad from Robin Hood came out and fucked everything up. What the fuck are you talking about? Some song, like it was a fucking moment between me and Bret. And then it all occurred to me. From 1984 to 1986 was when Bret was living in that fucking warehouse, sleeping on the floor, sleeping on a fucking floor with those other three guys in a laundromat behind Ron Keel's house. And they did that for 2 years. They didn't have MTV. They didn't have anything. And all these years I laugh about the stuff he doesn't know. And then it occurred to me, there are 2 years in pop culture completely missing from that dude's life. Like, sometimes I sing Prince songs that he doesn't know. Off Purple Rain. There's another one I do that shocks me that he doesn't know. But he knows Pink Houses, and he knows Summer 69, and he knows all that stuff right at 1984. And it just hit me like a light bulb after 21 years. There's 2 years of his life that he doesn't know anything. All he did was sit in that warehouse and make that music. And I just found it interesting. And I don't know if any of you guys have ever thought about that part of the survival in the music business and what him and so many other went through. They didn't even have electricity. They didn't. He talks to me sometimes about, and I don't know why he doesn't tell more of the story. He likes to tell the funny parts of the story, but he talks about the gas cooking and having one of those little Coleman stoves, and they would, he tells this funny story. I hope he tells it one day. I know he doesn't want to hurt Ricky's feelings, but and Ricky's a vegetarian now, but he tells a story about they used to take turns when they would scrounge money going to the grocery store, and they let Ricky go to the grocery store, and he went and he got whatever he got, and then he ate it all. He got a couple steaks and he cooked them and ate them himself, a lot of pain it took for him to get there, and you romanticize it. Me and him had a talk the other day about him living in the warehouse versus me and Bart and the other guys. For me, for a couple of years, living in a van, waking up in Walmart parking lots and eating cereal with Bart and hoping that one of the fans would let us stay at their house. The only difference is we were traveling and he lived in LA, but we went through the similar things. And when you tell those stories, you turn them into these, you romanticize them. You turn them into this stuff that sounds, we did that. We did that. It sucked. Let me tell you, if you've never woke up in a Walmart parking lot because the sun is beating down through the windshield and you actually have a sunburn on your fucking arm. There you go, Eric. You were there. You know exactly what I'm talking about, right? I didn't know you were watching, or I would have brought it up. But a part of your life goes away living in that van. Does it not, brother? Does it not? And Eric, you did it though, buddy. Eric was our drummer in some odd reason for a little over a year, I think. And Eric stuck with me at the beginning when I had to break off and do Evick. And Eric would play gigs with me. He knew how bad it was. He knew how bad, but he helped me. And Eric was such a good singer and drummer in high school. He was in the band we all looked up to. And to finally get him in my band, even in our late 20s, was as much of a success then to have Eric play in my band as it was for me to join Brett's band. And then when the whole thing went to shit, and I told you the story that I couldn't sing and I was taking those vocal lessons, but I didn't have the luxury of rehearsing in my basement for a year because I had to make money. I had to make money. So I had to depend on friends of mine like Eric that would play while it was terrible, while I couldn't get through. And there were nights where it was so bad that I couldn't even look at the band at the end of the night. I couldn't believe that they didn't get up halfway through the night and walk out. But the bars paid us and we made it through, and everyone's better for it these days. So anyway, the point of that whole thing was just the realization I finally had that anything from the middle of 1984 until about the middle of 1986, any part of pop culture Brett doesn't remember. He doesn't remember much of. Sometimes I'll talk to him about the 5150 record. He knew about Yankee Rose, but then again, he toured with David Lee Roth. But, he doesn't know much about the 5150 record. And so many things, because it just wasn't available to him because he was fucking starving for his art. Which again, Eric will tell you, we starved for our art. We did, man. We did. And we were all married and had families at home. Our opportunity came to us a little bit later. So, we were selfish. If I were to say anything, Eric, I would say we were selfish because most guys quit by the time we went out in that van and did that. And we had responsibilities at home that we left behind. We said, fuck it. we literally said goodbye to our fucking wives and families and fucking left. Oh, there you go. More details can be found in MTV Famous. Oh, so Eric, I look at your name and I laugh, man. We just fucking left. Hey, let's go. Fuck. Those were different times, that's for sure. So that's my story for the week, man. One more time, 31 people watching at the time. If you don't mind, like it and subscribe. If you don't mind, somehow leave one more comment. Help me pay for my fucking $1,400 car repair and buy a candle tonight. It's silly. I'm stressed out about my car. I've done all my UFO research this week that I can, and I think I'm going to hit end and go just watch Star Wars, because sometimes that's the easiest thing I can do. So, you got in late, you can go back and you can rewatch. A lot of this week's was a lot of fun. Hey Kelly, how you doing? So that's it, guys. Thank you for hanging again. We're getting closer and closer to my goal again, to have guests on. And when I have guests, we're going to break the doors open and the show's going to be a lot more fun. We have to get a certain amount of hours viewed and a certain amount of contacts or likes or whatever it's called, subscribers. So subscribe, like, and comment. And Eric, it's always good to see you. You are going to be one of the first guests, and we're going to tell stories that we forgot. From everywhere from the Outer Banks in a hurricane to tripping on pot cookies in fucking Arizona. You guys, great conversation. Thank you so much. We'll see you next week.